I think what's interesting this time is we're seeing, for the first time, actual on-device implementation of generative AI applications. So we're seeing a number of demos both on our own reference handset with our flagship Dimensity 9300, but also on customer devices with the Dimensity 9300 and the Dimensity 8300, real-world applications running generative AI on device, no network connection. So that's kind of cool, that's pretty exciting, and I think that's the first time we've seen that. So I think we've obviously been doing AI on smartphones for many years to do things like computational photography, enhancing the display, enhancing the cameras. But when we talk about generative AI, it's a completely different class of problems. I think generative AI, when we're running large language models or stable diffusion on device, it becomes much more of a memory bandwidth, memory management problem, because these are very large data sets, they're very large large language models. So the memory speed, the memory bandwidth, being able to effectively compress or decompress the memory is important. So on the Dimensity 9300, we have some memory decompression technology, which actually allows us to sort of compress the models in software and then decompress them when they're coming off the off-chip memory for use on the chip. So it's performance, it's being able to manage the transformer models, and then manage the high-performance memory bandwidth that's needed for these applications on device. That's important. I think there's a few. I think the main one is probably still performance, because it will run faster, it will respond faster, it will have lower latency, it will be more efficient in terms of the speed. We have a demo here showing real-time stable diffusion. So basically, as you type on the device, the image that's being generated is going to change dynamically. And that's only possible because it's all happening on device. The second, I think, is also obviously privacy, data security. So if you're taking pictures, if you're using your personal data, if we can run these generative AI applications on the edge, all that data stays on device. It's not going into the cloud, it's secure, it's private. And then, of course, it's not all the time that we have a perfect network connection. So if you want to be able to experience these applications when you have poor connectivity or you're outside of the Wi-Fi or 5G network, running them on device means you don't need that network connection as well. So I think all of those things are kind of pointing to the adoption of more generative AI applications running on device going forward. Well, obviously we've worked together for many years across all the different segments, all the different products. I think in the last couple of years, the focus has been very heavily on the flagship part of the market, which is a new growth area for us. We've worked very closely to really optimize the system level performance of the memory application and the flagship SoC from MediaTek. So we get the best possible performance, the lowest possible power consumption, and also meet the challenges, as we said, of some of these new generative AI applications that really require a lot of management of memory bandwidth with these very large data sets, with these very large models going forward. So I think we're just at the start of this. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more work together when we see the new products coming out this year with even more demanding requirements. I think we're just at the very start of it. I think the ability to democratize this technology across, today generative AI is still really just in the flagship tier at the very, very high end, right? And that's great. We need to develop the technology and land it there first. But I think what's important is to see how it can trickle down into other price points and other tiers of devices. We've already added generative AI capability to our premium tier products, the Dimensity 8300. And so that gives us, I think, a glimpse of the future. But how do we optimize these models? How do we optimize these performances? How do we deliver these solutions to consumers all over the world? I think is what's going to be exciting. The partnership with Micron has been fantastic. Obviously, we've worked together to optimize the memory performance on some of the flagship platforms over the last couple of years. I'm sure we'll continue to do the same going forward. All of these new applications, all of this exciting computing capability, multimedia capability, gaming capability, and particularly now with the generative AI applications, is really only possible because of the amount of memory and the high-performance memory that we're able to interface to and optimize for these high-performance mobile platforms.